Hello and welcome to Gaming Gain and welcome to Muzzpression. My name is Muzz and this is my impressions on Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart, a game that came out very recently, and I played the remake of the original, I believe, and it got released in like 2016, and I enjoyed that game. I did have some issues with it, but I enjoyed it enough to want to play this one. And basically, the reason why I never played the older ones is because I was in the Jak and Daxter side of the PlayStation mascot war that was going on. It was very strange to have two games, two mascots that were kind of similar at that time on the same, like exclusive to the same platform. But Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart is a fun game. I'm really enjoying my time with it. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. There's a lot of inventive aspects of it, which I'm going to get into later on. But the game is just, it's just a good time. I'm having a blast just playing through the story, which is kind of formulaic. It's not really anything that you're going to need to really pay attention to that much. It does a good job of taking you from place to place and kind of explaining why you need to go. But basically, the general premise is that the dimensions are starting to fuse together, or you've been sent to another dimension based because of what Clank built, and the whole idea is to kind of get back to your own reality. So it's quite, for a sci-fi, it's quite your standard kind of sci-fi dimension hopping story. But the way it uses the PlayStation 5 is its biggest selling point. The load times for the dimensions is incredible. It's seconds and you load into a completely new level, completely different assets. It's not as if they just change one or two things. It's like a completely different stage you're playing, and it loads in pretty much instantaneously. The characters are fun. They are enjoyable. The humor actually hits quite well, I think.
This is going to happen.
See you here. Considering my goons were meant to annihilate you 8 minutes ago.
Oh, what do you want, Nefarious?
Yes.
What are you bringing through? Hope it's something. I hope it's something. Yeah, like that.
Dr. Nefarious is kind of like a more PG handsome Jak. He's just silly. He's evil to the point of it being ridiculous. Like, he's just so over the top. Choose the scenery, and in a game like this, it works. Ratchet and Clank, they've kind of separated at this point. I obviously didn't really get to experience the full relationship, but you can tell that they miss each other, and the people they meet along the way are enjoyable as well. There's some standout characters or like sub-characters from the stages that will stick in your mind.
I am Chef Tulio, and like all great artistes, I can only create beauty when I'm suffering.
Okay.
To make my greatest dish yet, I must harvest the Seranian honey below us with this vacuum-suck. But doing so requires my full attention, so I'll need someone to defend me from those allergic to brilliance. If you wish to be a part of culinary history, start the extraction sequence with that hammer crank.
And yeah, the story is just, it's just a good time. It just allows you to kind of go through the game and not have to really worry about anything. I'm not really going to talk about the new character because she pretty much plays the same as Ratchet. Her name is Rivet. She's just a different, kind of personality. She's a little bit different to Ratchet, and yeah, she fits in quite well to the story. I don't feel like she's kind of forced in there at any point. She is there on her own merit, and yeah, she is. I'm not completed the game, I should say that. I'm about 50% of the way through according to the progress, so she is enjoyable. The combat is probably what Ratchet and Clank is most, I guess, famous for. Just some of the ridiculous weapons you have, and it's no the inventiveness of the weapons is never ceases to amaze me in these games. Even though I've only played 2 at this point, but you've got like your standard ones, like your blast pistol, your shotgun, and your grenade kind of. But then you have ones where you can throw out a mushroom soldier for yourself, or a kind of beam that looks like a kamehameha, or this lightning gun that kind of chains enemies together if you shoot them. And yeah, the combat is just a good time. I think the combat in the remake was a little bit frustrating because of the lack of like a proper dodge. You can jump and you do like a little somersault, but sometimes I feel like it wasn't good enough. Whereas this time they've actually included like a dodge where you can get right out of the way of projectiles, and I think you're invulnerable in that state for a little bit as well. But it can be quite challenging at times, which I like, because not only does the combat is fun because you can basically pause it mid-game with a weapon wheel, kind of assess the situation, and then bring out a gun to do just help you. But you need that in some situations because some of the encounters, they throw a lot at you, a lot of enemies at you, where you really need to kind of pause, think for a few seconds, get out a different gun, pause, and it can break up the flow of combat a little bit. But I think it works well in this game because it's just about really having fun with the weapons. Is it what can you chain together? Throw out the sprinkler that kind of freezes them or covers them in grass, and then you throw a grenade, and then you use your shotgun. And the upgrades to the weapons are another highlight because the weapons actually change and level up as you use them. So the shotgun starts off as like a 2-barrel. By the time you've leveled up, it's got 4 barrels. The fungi guy, you can get him a partner, and the dinky little pistol that you have turns into this like automatic machine gun by the end of it. So the upgrades are there and the silliness is there. It's just the combat is there to kind of just allow you to experiment, allow you to kind of just have a lot of fun with the different weapons that are on offer. The graphics are very impressive, and this is where I'm going to talk a bit more about the kind of PlayStation features. The controller, again, is a standout like it was in Returnal, that you half pull the trigger to kind of charge up one of the beam energy, and then you let it go. Then you have just similar ones like that. The shotgun, if you pull it down once, you do one shot. If you pull it down the full way, you use both barrels. So and the controller is very well used in the fact that it makes noise, so it makes you feel like you're a bit more immersed into the game. When you're on like a computer, you'll hear like typing coming through the controller, and if you're collecting stuff as well, it comes through the controller. As mentioned, the loading in the game is fantastic. Just the way it can switch from one kind of massive level to another massive level, and they use it in very creative ways. There's one level in particular that I think was designed around this, where you hit these crystals and it completely changes the environment around you completely. And they do it in actually fast-paced situations. It's not just like slow-moving stuff. They actually use it where you're like on a rail and you hit it and it completely changes what's in front of you. Yeah, so Ratchet and Clank is it's a good time. I think it's a game I needed to play at this point. I think a lot of the games that have came out recently have been quite like, not challenging, but just kind of, this one you can just jump in, have a good time. You don't really need to set aside that much time for it. You can play it for 10 minutes, or you can go on and play it for an hour and you still have a blast either way. It's just a fun game to kind of jump into, get in some combat encounters, do some challenges, and there are some more open levels, and it's nice to kind of come back to a game that has levels. Like, instead of being this big open world where there's so much to do, You have levels where you get to visit different environments, different planets, and it is just a good time. I'm having a really good time with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and I think I might actually go on and play it again because the weapons are just that fun to use once I complete it. Because the new game plus apparently is a bit harder and allows you to earn some more weapons. So I may do that, but that is Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart. Let me know what you think about it. Do you enjoy it? Have you thought about playing it? Have you bought it? If you don't have a PlayStation 5, I'm sorry. It sucks that it's still so difficult to get them at this point, but I hope you get one soon. But yeah, Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart is a damn good time. I'm enjoying myself very much with the game. And that is the video. So if you wanna, stick around, see some more stuff, I got Chivalry 2 as well with Ratchet and Clank, which I played on stream the other day, and I'm having a blast with that. So I'll definitely do an impression video on that. So you've got that to look forward to. I'm still learning this new video editing software, so hopefully I'll get more videos up on a more regular basis. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and with all that said, all that's left to say is any thoughts, comments, general hostile remarks, leave them below. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
It's me.
So that means that's just in that.
To the depths! How many arms you got?
Boy?
We've been boarded! Get off me, ship, foul creature!
This ain't good.